we are going to destroy them and tell you why they're terrible takes, how we know everything and you know nothing, and you're small. You're puny compared to us because we are so intelligent. Oh, hey, didn't see you there.
What's up?
Oh, this whole thing? Oh, this is just my game ball. It's no big deal. Yeah, right here it says I had 3 hits, scored twice, caught a fly ball at second, stole home, and won 24-9. So, but it's no big deal. I was 10. But anyways, welcome to the Royal Family Podcast. I'm Tyler, and this is my co-host.
What's going on, guys? My name's Austin.
How's your week been, man?
It's been good. Trying to survive this heat as best as I can. You know how it is. It's getting later and later in July.
Oh, I know how it is.
Oh, I know you know how it is. But
Yeah.
But yeah, how's your week been?
Well, I know how it is because I went to the Royals game 2 nights ago, Wednesday night, against the Pirates.
Ooh.
And I thought you could get there early enough to watch batting practice, but turns out that's not the case. And I was in the parking lot in my car with no AC for like an hour and a half, an hour 45.
Just for reference, how do you know how warm it was on Wednesday?
Oh yeah, sorry. It was 97 degrees, or it felt like 97 degrees on the weather app. And then I was in my car with no AC, and I had a water bottle, but it was one liter water bottle that if you want to bring into the stadium, you can't break the seal, so I couldn't drink it. And so I essentially was like dying of dehydration and like heat stroke. I mean, not really,
Wow.
but all at the same time, and that was fun. So all that just to say, yes, it is hot outside.
And I
Correct.
think that just goes to show your dedication as a fan. So, bravo for sticking it out for the boys in blue.
Yeah, sure. We should talk about that. It's kind of messed up that you can't go to batting practice anymore.
It
And
is.
I mean, you can if you're part of the Crown tickets.
Yeah.
But that's just like the richest of the rich, so like not many people can see it.
Did you at least catch like the tail end of the Pirates BP, or you caught nothing at all?
Yeah, literally the tail end of the Pirates, but my seats, luckily, were like very near the field, and they don't open those seats up until an hour before the game, so I couldn't get to see the Pirates batting practice up close even. Had to watch it from like the fountains, so I have no idea who I was even looking at. I can tell you it wasn't any of the stars, because just to be candid, the stars of the Pirates are not white, and they were all white. So
No Andrew
yeah.
McCutcheon, old man.
No,
We just
no
saw the bench
Kutch.
warmers.
No Kutch, no Ortiz, none of that.
Yeah.
Which really sucks because Ortiz is probably the only person that could have hit a ball to where I was standing.
Yeah.
But oh well. You know, it'd be like that sometimes.
It is
Did
what
you,
it is.
You do anything fun like me the past week?
Honestly, no. Went to the gym.
Just
That's about it. Watched some baseball. I at least I was able to watch some Royal wins. That was great. Got to see a Isbell walk-off. Was it Isbell that had the walk-off
Nope.
earlier this week? Who was it? It was
Lofton.
Lofton. Yeah, I got to see Lofton have the walk-off earlier this week, so that was enjoyable. That was the highlight of the week.
So now I want to pop into 2 new segments that we added this week. And the first segment, well, actually, Austin, I'm going to let you introduce the segments.
So the first segment, which you're going to walk us through, is titled, Has Q Changed the Lineup Yet? So what I will ask you, Tyler... Wow, jumping the gun. I was going to say, what I'll ask you...
what's the other segment?
Is, has Q changed the lineup? So he hasn't. Great. Does Alec Zumwalt still have a job?
Yes. So that is our 2 new segments. Stay tuned weekly, because until either of those questions have a different answer, they're just going to be a weekly recurring segment. Hope you like them. This other new segment is called Rapid Return. And essentially what's going to happen is both Austin and myself are going to give you 5 changes that we think the Royals should make. A max of 5. We don't have to do all 5 if we don't want to. If we want things to stay the same in some areas, that's fine. But we are going to give a max of 5 changes or moves that the Royals should make. And then after we give those changes that we want, we are going to put those changes into a baseball simulator, specifically Out of the Park Baseball 26. It's a very popular baseball simulator.
Best on the market.
Yeah, to my knowledge, I think like a way more popular sports simulator is like Football Manager. So if you're aware of Football Manager, it's basically the same thing. I honestly wish it was called Baseball Manager. It'd be way cooler. Anyways, we're gonna put our moves into a baseball simulator, and then we're gonna play it out for like 2 to 4 weeks. It'll be the 2 to 4 weeks after the All-Star break, and then we will come back for our next podcast, and we'll see who did better, whose changes made more of a impact. And we know these aren't going to be like extremely accurate results necessarily, but they will be the most accurate results that you can get out of, simulating baseball rules. What? Simulating baseball
games?
Moves.
Moves? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the word.
I don't know how I said rules. That's crazy. Okay, so, Austin, if you want to go first.
So I'm going to call up Jonathan Bolin. Going to DFA Sam Long. Those will kind of be my first 1 to 2 moves.
Nice.
Personally, I feel like Bolin has been more consistent and less...
He's been bowling a strike, if you ask me.
Yeah. Heart attack inducing compared to Long. He's less heart attack inducing compared to Long. And then I want to do a bit of a splash trade. So what my trade will be, I'll be doing Chris Bubich for Taylor Ward of the Angels.
All right. Interesting, for sure. Very interesting moves. We'll have to see how that works out. For me, I have 5 different moves, and I am, if people think it's cheating, that's fine, but I am optioning down a couple players and calling up a couple players all at the same time and calling it one move. But, it is what it is. So I am going to option down Rave. I'm going to option down Canna / Devaney, because we just called up Devaney because Canna was injured. So essentially just whoever is up at the beginning of the next half of the season, calling them down or optioning them. And then I'm calling down Luke Malley for Blanco, Waters, and Biggio. I want to call up Blanco, Waters, and Biggio. Then I'm going to fire Alex Zumwalt. And who we hire, it could be It could be a long time hitting coach. It could be a new guy in the game that needs a shot. It could be a broom. It could be me. And you're probably saying, Tyler, you have no idea what goes into being a hitting coach. And actually, he's not even doing that bad because of this, or this. Or you may be on the side of, Tyler, hitting coaches don't even matter. They affect none of the game. It's all on the players. I've heard that a lot in the TikTok comments. Both of those comments. And to people who say, I know nothing about hitting, check this out. Am I right? Am I right? That was pretty good. Okay. Anyways, then I'm going to trade Carter Jensen
The
for
hometown kid?
Bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, people will be upset because people are in love with him, just
Revolt.
like they are in love with Cags. But I don't care at all. We have enough catchers. I'm gonna trade Carter Jensen for little-known Heriberto Hernandez. I might have mentioned this a bit on last week's pod, but Heriberto Hernandez has been having a great season since he was called up. He's the Marlins left fielder, and in 82 plate appearances, he's hitting .338 with a .390 on-base percentage, and he's a pretty solid fielder. So it's not a big blockbuster trade, like Lugo for someone or Bubic for someone, like power hitting or whatever. And I'm mainly doing that because I want it to be as realistic as possible. And there's articles that just came out saying that the Royals are very unlikely to part with Bubic or Lugo. So I wanted to do something realistic, trade a minor league prospect for someone recently called up. It's not a huge deal, but I really like this kid. I think we need people who can get on base, and I think he's one of those people. And I'd like to see us make a trade for him. Then I am also going to designate Sam Long for assignment when Daniel Lynch comes back. There's no reason to have him up there.
Excellent.
Jonathan Bolin is 10 times better. So, yeah. And then the last thing I'm going to do is rearrange the lineup a little bit. My lineup is going to be in the one spot, in the leadoff spot, Michael Garcia. We've already done a 20-minute segment.
Didn't see that one coming.
On why that should be the case. And because it's been a while since that, I'm going to go ahead and give all of those stats again in order. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Then I have Bobby Witt Jr. in the 2 spot.
Bobby.
After that, we have Vinny Pasquantino, followed by Salvador Perez, followed by Freddie Fermin, the most underrated catcher in baseball, I feel. He's been having a fantastic season, both on defense and offense. Outside of like RBIs and power hitting, he's out performing Salvi, I would say. It's kind of hard to compare directly because a lot fewer at bats, but he's been doing great. I was thinking this the other day. I want Rex Hudler, our color commentator and notorious goofball. I want him to come up with some sort of name for our catching tandem, our catchers duo, because it's so cool that we have 2 catchers that are doing so well, especially on defense, but lately on offense. I think it'd be cool to give them like a nice little name. Number 6, I have Heriberto Hernandez, who we just traded for in this scenario. Number 7, I have So these next 3 are not going to be every day or every night guys. So I'm going to put the 2 players that could be in the lineup at any time. And I would like to see all of these guys play more like every other night or 3 times a week, essentially. Number 7, I have Jonathan India / Nick Lofton. Might just throw in there that I'm okay if Jonathan India gets traded, but if not, I have him / Nick Lofton. Number 8, I have Jack Caglione / Drew Waters. Number 9, I have Dyrone Blanco / Kyle Isbell. And so that'll be the bottom of my lineup. Definitely probably more of Isbell at first, at least. And then Blanco is like maybe every 4 nights. But he definitely needs more of an opportunity. He never gets an opportunity when he's up, and he's a career like 264 hitter. He deserves that opportunity, in my opinion. But yeah, those are my 5 moves. Do you have any thoughts?
I think it's pretty solid. I think like a couple things. I think first off, there's more opportunities for speed, especially with Blanco being up there. You actually have people who can steal by not having India in there every day. You kind of open it up to literally anybody else who can steal a bag. So I like that. From a speed perspective and an on-base perspective, I feel like we'll be in a much better position as we push towards the end of the season.
Nice. Yeah, so those are our moves. We'll go ahead and put them into the baseball simulator soon, and then we'll come back on our next episode and see how we did.
So next, we're going to talk about our current thoughts. It's a segment where we talk about all things KC current and things going on in the world of women's soccer. So currently, see what I did there? The current,
yeah, you do it every week.
And the rest, the current and the rest of the NWSL, and really I would hope all of women's football, soccer, are in an international break, in large part due to the women's Euros going on in Switzerland right now. Tyler, you've been watching the women's Euros?
Nope.
Catch any matches? Okay, all right, that's fair. I will say, I think it was
in a second.
At the time of, sorry, I got something in my. At the time of recording this, I believe yesterday, Switzerland was playing Iceland, and Iceland went up, and Switzerland needed to tie to move on to the knockout stage, and they scored with like just minutes remaining to tie the game, and they advanced, which eliminated Iceland. So that was like peak levels right there.
That sucks. I love Leve.
Who's Leve?
Icelandic singer.
Oh.
Pretty popular right now, low-key.
You know, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like you probably do, because I feel like you'd be somewhat... Not like... I don't know that you'd be a constant listener, but you'd, like, respect the vibes just because you were in choir and whatnot. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. But, anyways, that was a crazy match. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. But
okay, I just thought about how funny it would be if, because I've been holding a baseball this whole time, if I just like when you started talking about your current thoughts, I just like put the baseball down and out of frame just pull out like a giant soccer ball.
Honestly, dude, I mean,
I don't have that
shifting with the themes. We need to get you a soccer ball. I'm loaning all this equipment from you. The least I can do is give you a soccer ball.
Yeah, true. That's my last interruption, I promise.
No, you're good. But anyways, back to things on this side of the Atlantic. Izzy Rodriguez. She got her first appearance with the U.S. Women's National Team since the last time we recorded. She got her first start. And in that first start, she got her first goal against Ireland. This was actually a few weeks ago. It's been a minute. This was like June 26th, but...
well, we probably haven't recorded since then, so it's all good.
Yeah, I think we recorded maybe the day before, but yeah, it's been a minute. So yeah, congrats on Izzy. Claire Hutton. The next game the U.S. Women's National Team played, they played against Canada. She scored her first goal. So a lot of firsts for the KC Current. And just a bit of housekeeping as far as the Current goes. NWSL returns to action August 1st. So we still got a little bit more time of vacay before they take the field again. In league play, that is. There is a Teal Rising Cup tournament that starts July 12th. And it includes the Current, the Chicago Stars, Palmeiras of Brazil, as well as Corinthians of Brazil. So they'll have a little 4-team tournament. And yeah.
How are we supposed to beat a book of the Bible?
Listen, dude, I don't know. I think they're in Sao Paulo.
Sound fair.
Rio de Janeiro, because the Christ the Redeemer's there. So I would think if Corinthians was there, it'd be really fitting. I don't know what city they're in, but if they are in Rio, that'd be crazy. That'd be wild. That'd be cool. But anyways, 4-team tournament, July 12th, and championship game and third place game will be on July 15th. So just
would you say Brazil is like the second best women's soccer country, or is it someone else?
Are we ranking the U.S. as one?
Yeah, in my mind, that's what's going on, but feel free to correct me.
I would say right now, like as far as the women's game goes, it's kind of... Okay, let me backtrack. I will say the U.S. kind of went through a bit of a dip in quality. They kind of disappointed at the last Women's World Cup. But I feel like they've rebounded really nicely since then. So right now, I feel like it's between the U.S. and England as the top. Oh, geez, I'm lying. Not even England. Spain. U.S. and Spain being the top ones, with England being just below that. Some people will rate England ahead of the U.S., but I do think with what our new coach has been doing, I think her moves and honestly the depth that the U.S. has, I think we can compete and we can beat a team like England. They're a great team, don't get me wrong, but I would probably put ourselves up there with Spain. It's really preference, whichever one you put, one or two, between the U.S. and Spain right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That was kind of a really convoluted way of me saying U.S., Spain, and England, and then everybody else is below that. That's really what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Furthermore, I have one other thing with NWSL related news. So we're already starting to think about 2026 and kind of what that holds. It's going to be time for free agents. There's going to be a little bit of free agent frenzy come next season because there are some big names who have their contracts up at the end of this 2025 season. And I'll just kind of run through the top 5. There's a ranking I saw, and they kind of ranked the top 5 players that are going to be free agents. 2 of them are KC
Go
current
5
players.
to 1.
Go 5 to 1. Okay, so Midge Purse. She's ranked as number 5. She's amazing. Young player. Plenty of speed. Nice. Good on the ball. Number 4. We know her as the Selly Queen. Lola Banta. Yeah. She's ranked number 4 on this list. We better find a way to get a deal done for her. I will cry if she's not on our team next season. But anyways, number 3. Another player, you brought up Brazil earlier, Bia
Solmerato.
She is another player who's going to be a free agent after this season. She's been absolutely incredible for the Current this year. She's so strong on the ball. She's a tank. Like that. There's no better way to describe her. A tank with the ball at her feet. She's a joy to watch. But she's number 3 on the list. Number 2 on the list is your bestie, Tyler. Want to take a stab at it?
Yeah, so number 2 is unfortunately incorrect. The source that Austin's getting this from has some faulty information, because this is actually number 1 in my humble opinion. That's going to be Trinity Rodman, or T-Rod, as I call her. She calls me Ty. But yeah, that's going to be Trinity Rodman. Best athlete in her family. Best athlete in the NWSL. Maybe minus Chowinga. Yeah. And any team that's not going for her is going to be sorry. And that's just the facts that we have for you today.
Hey, man,
that we both agree with equally.
I mean, to an extent, yeah. I will say, like, her back has been kind of janky since she hurt it.
My back is kind of janky, right? But we saw the swing I just put up.
Low key, mine is too. I can't even lie. But so I take that point. But yeah, according to this list, this faulty list, she's number 2. And then number 1 on the list. This is one of those players, you know, like when I was growing up watching the Chiefs, Champ Bailey on the Denver Broncos, he'd pick our quarterbacks off. I'd get mad. I'd go to my room and cry about it. This is that player when she's playing on teams other than the U.S. women's national team, because she just scores. Like, she just finds a way to score the ball, and I'm just like, why are you trying to ruin my life? But this player, who's ranked number 1 on the list, is Sophia Wilson. She currently is a player for the Portland Thorns, but she's sitting out this season due to her pregnancy. But I think the plan is for her to be able to come back full strength next season. So, yeah, she's number 1 on the list. I can see why she was number 1. I can also see why you think Trinity should have been number 1, Tyler. But that's the list we were given. That's the hand we were dealt. So it is what it is.
That's what the biased media thinks, and that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, 2/3 of triple espresso right there, top of the list. So you can. No comment. Yeah, I know, no comment. I didn't. Apparently, they enjoy the name, so I'm just gonna let it alone. Let's switch gears a little bit. We talked about a lot of soccer just now, but so this is slightly KC Current related, and I'll get to that in a moment. But WNBA announced that there'll be 3 new expansion teams by 2030: Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. Yes, they omitted Kansas City. The owners of the KC Current, the Long family, they want to bring a basketball team to Kansas City, a women's basketball team, that is. But it looks like it'll have to be after 2030. What's your overall thoughts on that, Tyler?
Detroit and Cleveland? Who would want to go there?
I mean, last time I checked,
I'm just kidding. I'm not Sophie Cunningham. That was my best impression, though. Yeah, I think it makes sense where they went. I wish they came here.
Yeah.
But they probably will someday, hopefully.
Yeah, I think what it is.
But I kind of.
Go ahead.
I kind of want to see, in the meantime, until we get that, I want to see Kansas City really push to get an AUSL team, and that is the new softball league that just started. It's backed by the MLB, and right now it's none of the teams. I think there's 6 teams, or maybe 4 or 6. Mm-hmm. None of them are tied to a city yet, but I think they're kind of just like workshopping it, kind of seeing fan interaction and figuring out what cities are going to start hosting. But I hope we push for that. Obviously, I hope we get a WNBA team someday. Obviously, I hope we get an NBA team again someday. But those are going to happen less soon, I would imagine. So, yeah, absolutely fair. We'll just kind of have to, just wait and see. I really do feel like with these expansion teams, they just want to put it in cities that already have NBA teams, because it's kind of that infrastructure there already, which I understand. But, I mean, you can also branch out in other markets, I feel like KC would show up big
for another women's team. But just my opinion. I know I'm biased, but I feel like it's true.
All right. Well, thank you for that update on the current Austin. They're gonna come back in a small way near the end of this episode, but right now we're gonna get into the All-Star update because we are 3 games away from the All-Star break. We're recording this at the time that the Royals are playing their first game against the Mets for this last homestand. And so we're going to dive into a few updates on, we're going to dive into some updates. So first off, did Bobby make the All-Star game? Yes. Did he make it as a starter? No. He's going to be a reserve behind the Athletics' Jacob Wilson. And a lot of people are disappointed. Those people probably should have voted for him. But, it is what it is. I know that Bobby is the best shortstop in the league. I think everybody knows that. I think it's perfectly fine to give the starting role to this new kid who's putting up unprecedented numbers, at least in batting average, which is a lot of the reason that Bobby got it last year. If Bobby was the starter, I would have been cool with that too. I just think it's fine. Let the kid have it this year. He's really giving that fan base something to cheer for, and that fan base don't even know who they are. They have a bit of an identity crisis, so give them something to cheer for.
Yeah,
if you ask me. Did Michael? This was the biggest question I had going into the All-Star break that I was a little worried about. Did Michael Garcia get selected as a reserve? As of 2 hours ago, yes.
Whew.
So the reserves got announced a little under a week ago, and Michael was not selected, and it was very disappointing, especially because Jazz Chisholm was selected, who I think does not have the numbers Michael does. You can talk about him having 100 some less at-bats than Michael, but I think that is more of a reason he shouldn't have been put in there, because you should be less qualified if you have that many less at-bats, because we have no idea what he would have done in those at-bats. Maybe he would have been much better, but we don't know. He could have been 10 times worse, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. He has him beat a little bit in RBIs. He has him beat by 10 in home runs. I understand that. I think his on-base percentage might even be a few points better, but it's just Michael is having a breakout year. His defense is much better. His average is much better, which seems to be a much less valued component for whatever reason this year. But it feels like Michael should have got the shot. And then 3 more times All-Star reserves were selected because there's injuries, there's players that turn it down for whatever reason, players that want to rest. And so 3 more All-Star replacements were chosen in the American League. All not Michael again until the 4th replacement got chosen, and finally it's Michael. And I'm so happy. I've been championing him for the last 2 years. Really happy to see him get what he deserves, as he's had by far the best season of any Royal so far, especially compared to what each player was expected. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I really join you in that. I honestly lost all hope when that 3rd reserve was named, or alternate, or replacement, whatever you want to call him, and it wasn't Michael. I was like, we're really just, this is what we're going to do. But hearing him have his name called today, definitely felt happy for him, well-deserved. And I think you brought up, the home run comparison between him and Chisholm. I feel like not enough people recognize Kaufman is not designed for home runs to be hit in it. There are so many like near home runs or balls that die in the air in Kauffman. And I know we play on the road. I get that. But when your home ballpark is Kauffman, I feel like you got to adjust for that a little bit. But yeah, definitely glad to have Michael called.
You make an amazing point because Jazz Chisholm is a left-handed batter in New York's stadium. If I ever knew what New York Stadium was called, it's
Yankee
escaping
Stadium.
Me. Okay, just Yankee Stadium.
New Yankee
He
Stadium.
plays in Yankee Stadium as a lefty. All of those factors are probably the best factors you could possibly have to hit home runs in the MLB because their right field wall is criminally short. Let me look real quick. Yankees right field wall distance. 314 feet, which is crazy short. Insane. It's like a softball stadium, essentially.
That is wild.
I know that's an exaggeration.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a whole 16 feet shorter than what the Royals have in right field. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about a player in Michael Garcia that splits up the field, hardly ever pulls it. So it's just so many factors that show that Michael was probably the better choice for the All-Star this year.
I agree.
And
I will say that dugout's going to be interesting, though. I'm going to be curious to see how close they are to one another, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real beef there, but we'll see. The fans like to hype it up a little bit, but
I know I do.
All-Star games anyways, people typically get along, especially if they're on the same team. Look at Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese last year. And then lastly, as of like 12 hours ago or so, Carlos Estevez was also selected as a replacement, which is also just hugely deserved. I believe he is, if not first, top 3 in most saves for a closer this year. And that's with a team that barely is ever in save situations, especially the last month or two.
Yeah.
So very, very impressive. His ERA is like right around 2. It might have just fallen under, or it might be at like 204, but very deserved. Honestly, kind of surprised he wasn't announced originally. Lastly, we have Chris Bubich, who was added to the All-Star American League rotation when it was originally announced with Bobby, and another guy who's just obviously having the best season of his life. If it wasn't for the Dodgers and Yankees series. Actually, the Yankees one I don't even think it was that bad, but the Dodgers and one other series, he would probably have the best ERA in the league right now. And I'm not like it's his fault for having bad performances against good teams. I'm just saying he goes out there, has one of his better games. He is like one of the front runners for Cy Young this year.
Yeah, for sure. But definitely glad he was announced with the original team. I think, yes, it's good to be on there like at the end of the day, but getting on that original team, I think there's some pride in that. But happy for all 4 of those guys to get selected to the All-Star team.
Yes, sir. We added another new segment this week called What's New Around KC. It's mainly, we're going to try to get stuff that is related to the Royals and current, but it's like not necessarily baseball and soccer related, if that makes sense. But this could also just be anything fun and exciting going on around KC that we find worth mentioning. So this week it's going to be Pitchside Coffee is opening in the Crossroads, and Pitchside Coffee is a coffee shop owned by a few KC current players, some active, some not, or some like currently on the team, some not. It started as a mobile coffee business. It's actually 6 Kansas City current soccer players, and it's going to be a 5,000 square foot coffee shop at 1819 Grand Boulevard, which is gigantic. So going from like a coffee cart to this, I'm interested to see what they do with it. They're gonna set it up for watch parties a bunch since it's owned by KC Current players. The players that own it are Kristen Hamilton, Elizabeth Ball, Haley Mace, Vanessa DiBernardo, and former players Mallory Weber and Desiree Scott.
Yeah, the Destroyer routing out that group of ladies. Yeah, I think this is awesome. We should definitely try this place out. You know, it'd be cool if they like let us record podcast episode there.
Well, a podcast episode there, a podcast episode in Kaufman are all things I think that would be cool.
Vanessa,
so what
call
I need
me.
to also, I'm just a big coffee enjoyer, espresso enjoyer. I love I'm just a big nerd for like especially traditional coffee. I've been a barista a bunch of times. I want to open my own coffee shop someday. So this is all combining a bunch of my worlds, and it's very cool to see. So make sure to go check that out when it opens, which is going to be
in the next 3 weeks or so. When did this? Yeah, so it's gonna come like towards the end of this month. Yeah.
Okay, sick.
Yeah.
Sick. We'll do a review at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
Austin, what's your biggest Royals hot take?
My biggest Royals hot take. That Lucas Ursig should be our closer again. That's the biggest one. I love Ursig. I love Estevez. I think Estevez has done an amazing job. Not knocking him at all. I just want my boy Ursig to be closer again. That's all.
Now, if you're like Austin, you don't know what a hot take is. And a hot take is actually an unpopular opinion. So we are asking all of you guys, likely on our TikTok, we are asking all of you guys on social media to give us your Royals hot takes, something unpopular about the Royals that you believe, and we're going to read them on next week's podcast. And then we're going to destroy them and tell you why they're terrible takes, how we know everything and you know nothing, and you're small. You're puny compared to us because we are so intelligent. So
that's what Tyler's going to do. I will hear you out. And if it truly is bad or dumb or whatever, I will let you know accordingly. But I'll at least hear you out first. Tyler jumps straight for the knockout blow. But
I may or may not have gotten our TikTok account a strike because I keep being mean to people. You can't say anything on TikTok. Where is my free speech? Because I'll literally tell someone they're just dumb, which is pretty tame, I feel like, especially for the internet. And they'll be like, your comment was removed because it what's the word? It
violates our policies.
Violated our community guidelines. And I'm like, what do you mean? What can I say?
People get away with so much more.
Yeah, people are saying other things to me that I feel like aren't getting deleted. But it's caused me to have to be a little more civil. But don't worry, in video form, I will not be civil. So give us those takes. Maybe they're good. Who knows?